Adding in-app purchase subscriptions into your app is really hard. You have to juggle multiple things at once. App Store Connect, StoreKit, maybe Swiftly StoreKit, server-side receipt validation, tracking analytics, and the most frustrating of all, testing your in-app purchase subscriptions. Well, not anymore, because I have recently found a service that does the heavy lifting for you. And the best of all, it's totally free if your monthly revenue is less than $10,000. If you earn more than that, the cost is only a few bucks for each $1,000 earned. It's called Qonversion with a Q at the beginning. I love it, and I think you will too. Qonversion is the data platform to power in-app subscription revenue growth. Qonversion allows fast in-app subscription implementation. It provides the back-end infrastructure to validate user receipt and manage cross-platform user access to paid content on your app, so you don't need to build your own server. Qonversion also provides comprehensive subscription analytics and out-of-the-box integration with the leading marketing, attribution, and product analytics platforms. So this video, I will show you how easy it is to implement subscriptions into your app with the help of Qonversion. As usual, we will start off from scratch, so open up XCODE and let's dive in. The first thing you want to do is go to qonversion.io, that's Q at the beginning, and go ahead and sign up. If you already have done so, then go ahead and just log in. Okay, now once we are in, we want to create a brand new project. If this is your first login, then you will be asked to create a new project. So let's just hit here, new project, and let's name this Qonversion example. And let's click on next here. Now let's add an Apple. Let's select Apple App Store and then add the app-specific share secret. Now I have created my own app in the App Store, and this is where you want to grab your app-specific share secret. So under in-app purchases, manage and app-specific share secret. Let's just generate that. Of course, I will regenerate this, and let's just paste it in there. Next up, we want to add the App Store ID. So where do we get that? We go to Manage App Information, and then just scroll a little bit down and you will see Apple ID. So copy that out and paste that in there. Nice. And let's hit continue. And there it is. You can follow along the documentation, configure integration, and invite team members if you want to. In this tutorial, we are going to add the iOS SDK. So before we do that, let me just go ahead and do some other stuff. Let's go to settings, and here we have our project key, which we will handle in just a second. But here we have Apple server to server notification URL. Let me just copy that out and go back to App Store, and here you can see URL for App Store server notification and paste that in there. Go ahead and click save over at the top right, because this will make checking your in-app purchases with Apple really fast. Okay, so what I have done here in App Store Connect is just simply create an in-app purchase subscription, which we will use. Let me just go back there, and it's called Silver, and it is in the premium group. So yeah, that is what we are going to use. And I'm just using the com.rebeloper conversion example, which is my bundle identifier .silver. So that's our ID. Now, what I have also done here is prepared an example project, and this is straightforward. I'm just cutting time here on the tutorial, but basically what we have here is a Swift 2.0 app template, which means that we have a conversion example app. So it's an app here, and we have a UI application delegate adapter, which is right over here. We need this because we want to configure, basically launch conversion in the application did finish launching with options. We also have here a content view with some text and a lot of buttons that we will cover in this tutorial. And finally, we have our conversion manager, because I do like to have all of my logic inside a struct, not in my views. And this is a nice place to have all of the calls that conversion has. Okay, and one last thing, I have also added conversion 2.3.1 through Swift Package Manager right over here. There it is. Because yeah, we can add that also through Swift Package Manager. We can also add that through CocoaPods. Go ahead and check out the GitHub repository. Here is the link. Okay, so yeah, with that out of the way, all of the setup, we want to go ahead and create some products in Qonversion. So let's go to Safari and right over here. So here we have our Qonversion example. Now let's go to our product center, and let me just explain here real quick what these permissions and products are. Basically, permissions are like you have a free part of your app and then you have a paid one, let's say a premium one. That's what you want to call a permission, a premium. Now products, on the other hand, are products that you can unlock the premium feature with, this permission with. And that is what we are going to do. Let's go under, let's create a product first. So yeah, here you have some details about what products are. So let's go to create product. And this is the Qonversion product ID, and I will just use silver here, like what I have appended to my bundle identifier. Let's select type, direct subscription. Of course, you may have subscription with trial or non-recurring purchase. For this tutorial, we're going to use direct subscription. Let's choose the weekly here. And here is the Apple Store product identifier. So all we have to do is just simply copy this out and paste it in there. Nice. Okay, so yeah, basically that is it. Next up, we want to add this product to a permission. But before that, let's hit save here and let's go and create a new permission. Okay, the permission, I will just use premium with a small p here, premium. There it is, premium. And description, main premium. That's okay. And what products should this be unlocking? Well, I'm just going to choose silver here. Okay, and also you can create product here if you wanted to. So let's click save and we are all set up. Okay, next up, we use this information in XCODE. So let's jump back to XCODE and basically that's it. All you have to do for setting up this product is this two-step permission and products phase. Now you can take a look at the real-time data, the trials, the revenue, the customers. This is all a powerful feature of Qonversion that you can take a look at it later when you kind of try to test it out. For example, let's go to revenue and yeah, there it is. You can just do all of the fancy filtering that you might want to do. You can also filter through production and sandbox. So this is a really, really powerful feature of Qonversion, not just making in-app purchases doable, really easy. It also has analytics. And by the way, it also has some integrations, but we won't talk about that in this tutorial. Okay, so let's go back to XCODE and take a look at our Qonversion manager. And yeah, I will go through this file because this is kind of the bulk of it, what we really are using Qonversion with. So yeah, I really need to talk about this. This is a lot of code, so I will just simply go through it. So first off, we have here our HTTPS a link here to our Qonversion iOS SDK. So you can go there and check it out. Next, we have a project key. So while we are at it, let's just add in our project key. You can find your project key under settings and there it is. Let's just copy that out and paste it in there. Okay, permission IDs. You may have more than one permission ID. Currently, I just have one, premium. There it is. And finally, we have an array of products. Now, this is the Qonversion product that I have created, and just scroll all the way down. You can see it's requiring just an ID and the permission ID. This is because I found it is to be really easy to use inside our code. So what I will add in here is silver. That's the ID. If you recall, we created in Qonversion. And this is the permission ID. I'm just grabbing the first one from this array. Really nice. Now, per device user ID is an optional string here because we may add or rather get a per device user ID from Qonversion. This is automatically generated when we launch Qonversion from our app, and this is a long string that you can store or use to your liking. This is basically identifying this device per user. So this is just a unique ID for this device. If you are the same user on a different device, this will be different. Okay, now the first thing that you want to do is launch with a key. Now the key, of course, is the key that we added here, the project key. This is set by default here, but yeah, if you wanted to use it with another key, you can just use this static function. What you want to do here is basically set the per device user ID from the result. Of course, if we don't have any errors. Now, that is basically it. We want to launch this, and this launch should be in the application did finish launching with options. And we could do this right now, but bear with me. I just want to do one extra step here, and you will understand why. That extra step is check permissions. You want to check all of the permissions after you have launched Qonversion, because yeah, maybe then you can have some logic to enable or disable the premium. And again, we are using the Qonversion framework, check permissions. We are getting back a permissions list and an error. Of course, we handled the error. And here I'm creating an active permissions list. Now again, this is the last one that I have created. The Qonversion active permission is the one struct that I have created. Again, it has an ID and the permission. But what this basically does is I'm just going to filter through all of the active permissions. I'm going to leave out anything that is not active. And as you can see in the code, that's really straightforward. And I'm adding those into the active permissions array, and I'm completing with that. So that is how I check for permissions. And yeah, as I told you, I want to have these two in one. So I created a new function here called configure with the key and the permission IDs. If there are available, then we are just going to use the permission IDs that we have set. And what this does is basically launching and checking for the permissions. That's straightforward. So let's configure our Qonversion manager right here. So we are going to do that in the app-delegate adapter. So let's just add this here in the application did finish launching with options. So this is straightforward. Let me just move this out of the way. Configure, we are getting back a result, and that result may have active permissions. Now, if it doesn't have any active permissions, then you can handle it as is. I'm just assuming that I do have active permissions, and for each, I'm just going to print this out. Print out the product ID, the permission ID, the product ID, and when it's going to expire. Really straightforward. Okay, so that's one thing out of the way. Let's just move forward with the Qonversion manager function so you may understand what we have here. Okay, that's configured. Now we can set aside user ID. Now this is kind of a side user ID besides the Qonversion user ID. And yeah, you can do that if you want to. Let's say you are connecting with Firebase and you want to have that side user ID so we can identify that this is the same person. Okay, then you just set this. I'm just using UUID string here by default, but yeah, you could just use anything else. Now, you could also reset the per device user ID with Qonversion.resetUser. That's really straightforward. Also, you can set some properties, and the default properties are name and email. And you can just add name and email, whatever you want to. And you can also, this is for the set user property, but you can also set custom user properties. Let's say, I don't know, whatever, level count. And then you can add that string, like level count, of course, shouldn't be an int, but yeah, level count or gender or whatever. And you just set that property with that value. And of course, you can, after that, you can get that, and that also will be displayed in the analytics. Finally, we get to purchase. Now, purchase is really easy to use. We just need a product ID. And yeah, because we have our Qonversion product that I have created, I'm just going to grab that product ID from there. And yeah, we're just handling errors, getting through all of the permissions. And if that permission is active, then hooray, we have an active purchase. So let's just do that inside our content view. So content view. And before we do that, let me just show you how you can set the per device user ID, because it's really easy to do. So what we have here is per device user ID, and let me just show this for you. It's just Qonversion Manager per device UID, and this per device UID is going to be shown on my button currently, but you can use it anywhere else. Now back to purchasing. Now we are going to use Qonversion Manager.purchase, and we are going to just purchase the product's first element. As you recall, we only have one, so that's okay. Now, we may get back a purchase. This is an optional boolean. Now, if this will return nil, then the purchase is cancelled, either by the user or by the system. Now, if we do get back a type of purchase, so if let purchase equal purchase, then we're just going to print out purchase with success. And yeah, if it's true, then it's true. If it's false, then it's false. Then I'm just going to set the subscription is unlocked to true. Now this is a state on here, but yeah, you could just use this information whatever you want. This is going to just change the text on top of our vStack from locked to unlocked. Okay, and basically that is it. Now we might want to restore permission for one permission or restore all permissions, and we want to check for purchases. So let's go one by one. Okay, let's move that back and restore purchases. Again, conversion.restore. These are really nice functions that I really like. It returns an array of permissions and an error. Now, again, I just search for active products, and if those active products have the permission ID that I'm looking for, then I will go, okay, this permission has been restored. Otherwise, I'm just going to go with an error. Okay, and if active permissions count equals 0, then I just print out nothing to restore. That's the first time you just going to check. Let's say you didn't purchase anything and you just tap restore purchases, then you go nothing to restore. So let's see that in action in the content view. Let's go back to our content view. There it is. And restore permissions. So here it is. We are using Qonversion Manager again because we will get back a result, and that result will have either active products or error. Now, if the active products count is greater than or equal than 1, then subscription is unlocked. This is my case, but yeah, go ahead and implement this to your own case. What you want to know here is, do we have any active products and what are they? Okay, now you might want to restore all permissions. As you recall, we might have more than one permissions, and that is really easy to do. Let's go to Qonversion Manager and take a look at the code. So restore all purchases. Again, conversion.restore. This is what we are going to use. And we go through all of the permissions, and we are not checking if for any permission ID, basically. So we go through all of the permissions. These two functions are quite the same, but except for this if statement right over here. Okay, so let's implement that real quick. It's really easy to do. So restore all purchases is from Qonversion Manager, and yeah, we just get back active products. Really nice. Awesome. Now let's just move forward and take a look at, where is that? Check permissions. Now we want to check permissions on launch, but we also might want to check permissions on the app. So that is why I created a separate button here for check purchase. And yeah, let's just see here, because I have added here a lot of code and I'm just going to go through it so you may understand. So we're checking permissions and we're getting back a result. Active permissions, that is what we get upon success. Now for each active permission, we want to print this out, but I just added here a little bit more, and I'm talking about the renew state here. I'm going through the renew state with a switch, and we have some cases: will renew, non-renewable, billing issue, or cancelled. Now, the thing that you want to check here is will renew, because if the subscription will renew, then you may set the subscription is unlocked to true. And that's really nice. With billing issues, you might want to prompt the user to update their information, and cancelled, of course, the appropriate alert. But we also want to set the subscription is unlocked back to false. Now, basically, that is it. Let's just build and run and see how all of this looks. And go ahead and test it out. Go through a lot of scenarios that you might want to test. Let me just show you how this looks like on my phone. So it's launching. It's really nice. Let's see some logs here, because of course I'm not using alerts here. I'm just using simple print statements. And as you can see, we have launch result, permission count is 0. So we don't have any active permissions. Active permissions count 0. Okay, but we have also loaded our product. As you can see here, it is silver and with the price. So how awesome is that? We already have some info from Qonversion. Now, let's just tap on per device user ID. And as you can see, we just grabbed the per device user ID. Now, what we want to do next, of course, you may check for the purchase. Let's just check for the purchase because we haven't created the purchase just yet. So let me just tap check purchase. And basically what this will do, let me just go back here. As you can see, it says checking purchase. And after that, we got active permissions count 0. So we don't have any active permissions. So we shouldn't allow users. And as you can see, it's still logged. So of course, we can tap on restore permission or restore all, but it will do the same. So let's go with purchase. And for now, it says purchasing. And I will just maybe move this out of the way so we can see a little bit better with our device also. There it is. So it says purchasing. So let's hit subscribe here. And by the way, you still need to have a sandbox user to use this. This is, you already know if you are using in-app purchases. So let me just add in here my password. Okay, let's tap sign in. There it is. And yeah, now we have been, let's just wait for it. It still says purchasing, so we should wait. And you're all set. Let's tap on OK and purchase with success. True. How awesome is that? Now, if we let's just stop this and take a look at our logs in Safari. Let's go to customers and make sure that you select sandbox. So no, not production, but sandbox. And if you just scroll all the way down, you will see all of the details that this subscription has. And you can even tap on the subscription here and you will have all of the details. Okay, so let's just check for our purchase. Let me just build and run again. And finally, just test this out if the subscription is already valid upon the next launch, for example. So there it is already. As you can see, it's active permissions count 1. And when it's going to expire, now check purchase. And as you can see, it says will renew. And now we can see that this is unlocked. How awesome is that? I hope you liked implementing Qonversion into your apps as much as I did. Now, if you did like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and share it with your developer friends. And while you do that, make sure to check out these videos as well too. I talk a lot about Swift UI in general. And as usual, I will see you in the next one.